Okay, I guess we're ready to give you all the good news and start talking and see how it takes us. So first off, I just want to thank everybody for coming out today. It's great to see a lot of familiar faces and a lot of new ones. It's always fun meeting new people. I'm Mayor Dan Tolan. Today we're here to talk about all the great things that happened in the city last year. The changes, the challenges, all of our accomplishments. First, I want to introduce some people so everybody knows who everybody is. First, I'd like to recognize all of our city council members: Scott Morissette, Diane O'Dean, Sean Downing, Nick Carroll, Alyssa Miller, Jeff Bjork, and Todd Bierstead. Most of them are here, so if you guys want to stand up, kind of spread out. Thanks, guys. Then I'd like to say a thank you and a shout out to all of our city staff who are here today. All the hard work they do behind the scenes to make this a great place to stay. So if you work for the city or part of the city, please stand up and let us recognize you. Okay, next, to everybody in this room who is part of the River Falls business community, please stand up. You are the backbone of our community. You don't just keep us afloat, but you keep us thriving. So if you're part of the business community, please stand up. Then I'd also like to recognize our city volunteers. Whether you're on a board, a commission, a committee, or you volunteer your time in other ways, either as a poll worker or anything like that, your contributions are essential to all of our successes. For those of you who are For those of you who are with us this morning, please stand and let us give you a hand. I'd also like to thank a lot of our business people that couldn't be here today, all of our citizens that live here in town. You guys are what make us a great city to live in and thrive in, so we greatly appreciate everything you guys do. So next, I'd like to introduce our City Administrator Scot Simpson, and he'll lead us through the program today. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Mayor. Can everybody hear me okay? That's the first thing a speaker's supposed to check, right? So I forgot to put up the slide of some of my bosses. So these are the folks that are important to me from a work perspective and thinking about how we can transfer their vision and the community's vision through them into the possibilities and then make some progress on those. So thanks, Mayor and Council. I appreciate the opportunity to represent you today as we go through the state of the city. So I think I know a lot of you. I've been around for a long time, which I know isn't necessarily common, or people don't think of city administrators being around for a long time, but I've been blessed to come here in 2009 and got a flourishing family that's been able to take advantage of all the things here that all of you that have just been recognized do to make this city a great place. So I really appreciate all the things that the mayor has talked about. For me, it transfers down, and I'm lucky to have a family. I'm a Wildcat guy, a Green Bay guy, and so it's nice to be in a community where I'm surrounded by people that appreciate the things that we have. I tell my colleagues all the time that this is the best job in Wisconsin, so appreciate it. These are just a list of some of the things that you can volunteer your time at the city. And so as you get the opportunity or you're asked to do so, we'd certainly like you to consider doing that. There's a lot of roles here for folks, and we appreciate all the engagement opportunities and the chances for service here. So the State of the City address is an occasion to look back at what we accomplished in the last year, and we'll share a little bit about what things might lie ahead. City leaders and staff are integral in our efforts, but so are the countless community members, many of whom I see in this room, who are deeply invested in the future of River Falls. From serving on city boards and commissions to volunteering as poll workers to working alongside us in partner organizations, your willingness to roll up your sleeves and join in our work helps make our success possible. So it's an honor to be able to stand here and celebrate the work that we do to make River Falls a distinct, vibrant, and safe community where all people can flourish. The mayor acknowledged and recognized that progress is not possible without partners. He called out a number of groups that are critical to our success, and I want to thank them again for everything they do. Your unwavering commitment, deep care for the community, and unique perspectives make us better every day. We're also lucky to have an opportunity to work closely with many exceptional public organizations here in the city. There are too many to name individually. I do want to highlight a few. We've got a few of their logos up on the screen. And this is something that really is important to community life here in the city of River Falls. And so I want to thank our educational partners, Chippewa Valley Technical College, University of Wisconsin River Falls, the great school district of River Falls, for showing our students the possibilities of who they can become and providing them the tools to make it happen. Thank you to St. Croix and Pierce County for your steadfast work promoting and protecting welfare of our community through public health, public safety, health and human services, and many more operations. Thank you to the Kinnickinnic Corridor Collaborative for essential work fundraising and keeping the implementation phase of the Kinnickinnic Corridor plan in mind. Thanks to the organizations that provide vital social services in the community, including local churches, WestCap, ARC, Our Neighbor's Place, Turning Point, St. Croix Valley Habitat for Humanity, and many others. We're thankful to be able to lean on your specialized skills and your support of our community. Thank you to Rotary, Lions Club, American Legion for your invaluable support of youth and veterans in our community. And thanks to the River Falls Community Foundation for your philanthropy and essential support of nonprofits in this city. Thank you also to the Chamber, Economic Development Corporation, Bid Board, and Business Innovation Center for providing essential support to our business community. So the work of all these groups showcases the vibrance of our community and reminds us why we love living here. Help me give a round of applause to all these other essential partners in the community. At the city, there's 6 values that guide our actions, and those are listed on the slides. And as we've transformed possibilities into progress over the last year, our values remained at the forefront. Integrity means doing what we say, keeping our commitments, and being transparent and accessible. Now, it's challenging to balance this imperative for accessibility with staff capacity, especially as our community grows at such a rapid pace. To overcome that hurdle, we provide many ways that the public can access information about the city. On the city website, you can view all of our financial statements, audit reports, minutes from meetings, and more. Every council meeting is live streamed, available live and also after the fact if you'd like to rewatch. We share information on city projects, programs, initiatives, and the River Falls Readers. The cards in front of you have a QR code where if you're not subscribed to the River Falls Reader, I encourage you to do so that you can keep up to date on some of the things that are going on in the city. So we're always searching for new ways to enhance the accessibility of the city information and people as we grow. Putting people first is a pillar of our work here at the city, and city leaders and staff seize many opportunities to get on the ground and connect with the community in 2022. Mayor Tolan and city council members again hosted the Mayor's Cookout conversations at city parks throughout the summer. And in August, we were excited to bring back our customer appreciation event after a 2-year hiatus. We welcomed community members to join staff and leaders on the City Hall Plaza for food, music, fun, and games. And we're looking forward to doing that again this year. Public Works staff visited elementary schools in April for Public Works Week, while utility staff participated in line worker story time at the library for Public Power Week. The police department held Coffee with a Cop sessions and partnered with local agencies to put on a run with the cops. The fire department completed several fire extinguisher trainings for area organizations. They led fire safety education sessions for 2,000 elementary school students and held the annual fire department open house in October. We're very lucky to have staff who aren't just excellent in their technical skills, but also they value and seek out connection with the community. In 2022, the library continued providing top-notch services and resources to empower the community to think big, get creative, and connect with one another. Library staff welcomed 110,000 visitors, and they provided over 275 programs. In September, the library also won a T-Mobile grant to purchase additional Wi-Fi hotspots and those can be checked out by community members for free. Thanks again to our library staff for always seeing new possibilities in making learning interesting, exciting, and accessible to all. The city's clerk office put people first in countless ways in 2022, including partnering with the UWRF Office of Student Involvement and the League of Women Voters to hold the city's first ever National Voter Registration Day event. Thank you to UWRF and the League of Women Voters for joining us in this important effort to get River Falls residents registered to vote. In 2022, the city's customer service department continued to provide personalized service to River Falls Municipal Utilities customers in need of bill payment assistance. Team members Brenda, Jackie, Lisa, and Wendy proactively reached out to help when customers miss payments. They take the time to understand each person's unique circumstances, they identify their options, and then they guide them through the process of finding community partners that can help them provide assistance. And we have a number of partner organizations that do that. Over 300 municipal customers received financial assistance from those partners in 2022. That amounted to over $100,000 in bill pay assistance. After a few years of online school, where truancy was notably down, it came back a little bit in 2021. And so our municipal judge, Daniel Gorman, implemented a new program for juveniles charged with habitual truancy. So rather than facing purely punitive sanctions, the students are now required to read a book about life lessons in the workplace. It's a manga book, for those of you that are familiar with that. And the city's clerk of court, Melinda, spent countless hours implementing this program in 21 and 22. So she doesn't just simply hand out a test, which the judge requires. She opens that dialogue with those students, talking through their answers, their questions, about the reading, and also providing some encouragement to them to help chart what the next path for them is. So Melinda's hard work has brought this innovative program to life, achieving progress where the judge saw possibilities. At the police department in 2022, the Neighborhood Resources Office position was reestablished, and Officer Luke Axley was appointed to the position. Now, this position has a variety of responsibilities, including introducing himself to people experiencing housing insecurity. He serves as a vital link to organizations that have the staff expertise and resources to provide direct assistance to people experiencing either mental health or housing or other crises. Officer Axley and our whole River Falls Police Department are committed to protecting with courage and serving with compassion. I want to thank Officer Axley. I also want to thank all of the police department who live this out every day in their interactions with the public for not only helping people see the possibilities of their safety and security, but working to ensure that they have access to them. So like the community we serve, city leaders and staff are not content to accept the status quo. In fact, that's one of the things that I find very unique about River Falls. Whereas I've worked in a number of communities and I have colleagues throughout the country, status quo is typically the accepted and desired state. I find that to be exactly the opposite in River Falls. So we're always striving to be better and achieve greater excellence. 2022 was a challenging year for election officials across the country. But our clerk's office staff guided us through 3 elections with unflinching professionalism and dedication. Even with our outstanding staff, we could not have successfully administered these elections without our poll workers. This exceptional group assisted nearly 7,000 election day voters across 3 elections. And I don't know about your experience, and some of you may not vote in the city of River Falls like I do, but the experience here, if you've ever been able to compare experiences to other places, you'd find that the experience in River Falls is exceptional. Wait times are low. Staff is highly educated in the process, the laws, and people's rights, and they do that every year. And it's not just the paid staff or our regular full-time staff, but we have excellent, excellent poll workers. So thank you for providing safe, easy, efficient voting in River Falls. And I think that's worthy of a round of applause. So we're proud to be nationally renowned for our sustainability efforts in the city. In 2022, the U.S. Department of Energy ranked River Falls number 2 nationally for green power participation rate. Now this means we have the second highest percentage of utility customers opting to go green in the nation. Thank you to our utility staff for their efforts, but I really want to support and thank the council for taking the lead and working with the community. And then obviously this is a direct result of the community making a decision and jumping in to help make continuous progress. This is number 2 in the nation. Developing the city's biennial budget posed another opportunity for pursuing excellence, and our finance department was up to the task. It may not seem like a lot, but the adopted budget uses $60,000 less than anticipated in our fiscal planning models, and it required $228,000 less in property tax than we had in our fiscal plan. So the finance department also facilitated the sale of approximately $12 million in bonds for city projects in 2022. This includes the North Interceptor rerouting project, North Water Tower, North Loop Utility Extension, and Man Valley, which we'll talk a little bit later in the process. As part of the bond sale, the city received an updated credit rating, and when I mean updated, that just means a new. It wasn't different. We kept our great bond rating of AA2. This is a prime rating due in part to the sound fiscal planning supported by the mayor and council, and the only way to increase it to the very top would us to be about 5 times the size of population we are. So this is excellent work, long-time fiscal stewardship by many decades of good elected leadership and competent staff in the finance area. 2022 also brought some big changes to the city, including in the fire department. In August, new Fire Chief Stephen Cash was sworn in, and I saw Chief Cash right up in front. And I'd encourage all of you to take the time after the presentation, the formal presentation today, to mingle and network. And if you have questions for city staff, they're all here and ready to help you. And that means for you city staff, you can't sneak out right in the 1 minute afterwards. So stick around. I don't know if there's another flight of bacon coming, but we'll do our best. Not only did we add a new chief, but we had I believe the largest class of volunteer firefighters that we've had in our history, at least that we've tracked. So over a dozen new firefighters, which is important for us. It's a time of need and significant change, and those additions are going to ensure that our staffing levels didn't falter and that the excellent leadership at the department can continue uninterrupted. I really continue to be amazed at the dedication of this volunteer department. We have a single full-time city staff person in the fire department. The rest of the fire department is staffed, led, managed, and implemented by our volunteers. And that's something that is incredibly difficult to maintain, and it's something that we all should be proud of, and we need to keep supporting that group. So thank you to the fire department. I don't have a whole lot of dramatic pauses planned or spotlights on the audience like the president or the governor would have. So you're welcome to applause whenever you like, and it's okay if you just sit back and enjoy the show. Also in 2022, the City Council approved plans to construct our own biosolids dryer at the River Falls wastewater plant. Why should you care? You don't need to. We have lots of people that do care, and we'll take care of that. But for those of you who are interested, historically we've hauled our mostly treated wastewater to Ellsworth, to a facility that we own with a number of other communities, and it's treated in its final stages and then land applied. But it also involves us trucking down, and then we truck water back to the city. By doing our own biosolids facility in River Falls, we reduce all of that carbon footprint, all the cost of the trucking. And what we end up with is basically, for those of you who grew up in Wisconsin like me, it's Milorganite for River Falls. So we end up with an environmentally friendly fertilizer product that we can apply or people can come and get for their gardens or that. So all of that creates A lot more efficiency in the process. It's more environmentally sustainable. It's more fiscally sustainable. And it wouldn't happen without people asking questions in the process, like what if we could do something different? What if the status quo is not what we continue with? So appreciate all the work, the field trips, visiting Wisconsin Dells to kind of look through the process, do the analysis, and now we'll be able to implement that this year. So it seems like just a wink ago, but it was 4 years ago already now that the City Council adopted the Kinnickinnic River Corridor plan. Now, the goal of that plan was to set a future vision for the Kinnickinnic River Corridor that meets residents' needs and desires, reflects the values of the community, and protects the river for future generations. So the planning process was centered on community engagement with residents' voices prioritized as the City Council considered the future direction. And so, as most of you know, this process culminated in a recommendation shaped by that community feedback to remove both dams. In 2022, the city took a major stride towards implementing that possibility. We've secured a partnership with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Now, the Army Corps has begun a study on how they can assist in the restoration of the Kinnickinnic River. Once that study is complete, the City Council will then decide whether to move forward with a project led by the Corps. The funding and expertise gained by our partnerships with the Army Corps may allow us to overcome many of the financial and logistical hurdles of bringing the community's big vision to life. So I want to thank Community Development Director Amy Peterson for leading us through this next step of the process, and to the Kinnickinnic Corridor Collaborative, or KCC, and the community for its continued support and engagement in this important issue. What you see on the screen is the middle Kinnickinnic section of the corridor plan. I'd encourage any of you that have not had the chance to look at the plan, maybe that's a homework assignment for you all today, is just take 5 minutes, go on the city's website, search Kinnickinnic Plan, and just read about what you as a community told us that you'd like to see come to vision. That is what we are working on to find progress. Now, serving our community means doing all we can to make River Falls a highly livable place for all. In 2022, we added 2 new murals to the city. The first is Discovery by Isaiah Shipp. That's painted on the old railroad abutment along the Kinnickinnic Trail. And Party Under the Bridge by Alex Peterson, which is located under the Maple Street Bridge. Now, public art isn't just nice to have. It's essential. It's essential to solidify our cultural identity as a community. So I want to thank, again, the council who had the vision to see the possibilities of public art, and they've made progress by supporting it in their funding decisions. 2022 also saw the completion of renovations at the Glover School Station. Now, this was built in 1920, and I won't call him out, but I know there's at least one council member that attended school in this building. And I saw his sister, who I think may have also attended school in this building. This was a schoolhouse until 1962. The leaders at the time in 2003 saw that they could preserve this and try to bring it to DeSanctis Park. So fast forward, it took us a few years, a couple decades, I guess. This process of transforming the structure into a functional community building it was long and challenging. It was the most expensive dollar the city ever spent. But the vast progress over this year wouldn't have been possible without Park and Rec Board, the Historic Preservation Commission. Both of those 2 groups worked kind of tirelessly as advocates to let's get across the finish line. So now we have, with our Facilities, Recreation, Public Works Department, we have a wonderful resource for the community. At the city, we're committed to providing opportunities for people of all backgrounds and abilities, and in 2022, under the mayor's lead, we took an exciting step of becoming the first local government in Wisconsin to serve as a Project Search internship host site. Project Search is a program that provides young adults with disabilities training and career exploration opportunities, and we were able to welcome our first Project Search intern, Ben, in March of 2022. And even though Ben was a Hudson Raider, he seemed to get along just fine with with River Falls staff. And since then, we've been lucky to host interns Nathan, Abby, Haley, and Phoebe. So we want to thank the school district and project search instructor Natasha Harum for inviting us to take part of this amazing program. It's allowed us to make big progress in serving our community. When we consider future generations, we resolve to leave things better than we found them. Our commitment to environmental sustainability is a core part of who we are at the city. And in April, we partnered with a number of other organizations to co-host Earth Fest. That was the community's Earth Day Festival. Over 1,000 people came out for that event. And we couldn't have a State of the City without goats. So this will be the goat portion of the presentation. This is not the first time, by the way, as a city administrator, I had to learn about goats, because I was involved in a goat cheese factory. So you never know where paths will cross and where things will come back 20 years later. So these goats, I think, are definitely grazed, but I don't believe they're producing any cheese that I know of. But in this summer, City Forester Mike Noreen, the city implemented a goat grazing program. Some of you have seen these driving around the community. I think there was some off of Glover last year by Glover Park, and we've also had them in the community. But they mitigate buckthorn and other invasives along, in this case, the Kinney Trail, allowing us to clear that vegetation in a chemical-free manner. I think it was probably the #1 Facebook post in the city. People were literally running down when they found out there was goats there. So we all of a sudden had a parking problem downtown because of the goats. At the end of 2022, some dedicated volunteers and Councilmember Downing helped us become a bee city. Those volunteers are shown in that picture. And this is like our efforts in Tree City and Bike City. Bee City helps us identify the possibilities of a more pollinator-friendly community. Obviously, that has benefits for the bees. We also think it has benefits for us. Thanks to the City Council, city staff, and our community partners for allowing us to make continuous progress in environmental stewardship. Considering future generations is central priority for the city staff and leaders in planning for development. We are focused on the long term. In 2022, the North Interceptor Sewer Rerouting Project was completed. Now, this project took over a decade of planning and design work just to get to that stage, not to mention building the project along a river with owls, bats, and eagles that all require special effort on our part to build. Now, this project replaced a sewer lift station or pumping station, and it's replaced it with a completely gravity system. So not only is that more financially feasible for us over the long run, but it also is more environmentally sustainable because we're not using electricity to move our waste through the system. It improves reliability because we don't have a pump that may go out and spill sewage into the river. So all of these things were taken into consideration over decades of planning, and it's something you'll never see. In addition to the North Interceptor project checked off our list, we also got started on some really big new projects. I mentioned the North Water Tower. There's a picture of just the cement foundation in the middle there. That's a pretty significant foundation. I don't think I've seen anything like that before. That's up in the top of Whitetail Park. And then the North Loop Utility Extension, which is going to loop utilities down Paulson Road out to Radio. And the city many decades ago planned for the sewer to be extended, and so it's extending then underneath the highway there back into Sterling Ponds. That's going to provide more availability and more reliability for all of our customers in that area and eventually to Man Valley Corporate Park. This is expected to be completed this fall. Now, the North Interceptor, North Water Tower, the Loop Extension all represented mere possibilities a few years ago. Now they're going to bring real progress to providing city infrastructure to our growing community. The City Council also moved forward with the final design contract for Man Valley Corporate Park in 2022. Man Valley Corporate Park includes 200 acres for office and light industrial use, as well as some room for some mixed use. And our neighbors there include the school district, who may determine it someday to do institutional use there. So Man Valley's been years in the making. It's a project that was in its infancy 13 years ago when I came to River Falls. And we want to thank the City Council, Economic Development Manager Carrie Schreiner, the City Engineer Todd Nikolewski, and the whole Community Development Department for kind of envisioning the possibilities of Man Valley, which should bring us great progress in creativity, innovation, and economic vitality, much like our other corporate parks have done. Commercial development continued to boom in River Falls in '22, and there's just a couple highlights: the Renaissance Academy building and BOH Electronics. There was also expansion for Eurofins, and there's a 90,000 square foot industrial building underway for Whitetail Corporate Park. These projects allow us to make continued progress towards the City Council's vision of added tax base and expanded local employment opportunities. This year, the city will partner with the state to reconstruct the bridge deck on Powell Avenue Bridge over the Kinney. And we're also going to finalize the design work for urbanization of Wasson Lane between Cascade and Cemetery. So if you can imagine the portion of the old highway out there. So in addition to the school district moving forward with that new facility for the Wren School near Wasson and Cemetery end of the project, CVTC is moving forward with ambitious plans for additional space on their campus near the eventual new roundabout at Wasson and Cascade. So that's at the other end of this Wasson project. So CVTC expects to begin work on renovations and site work on the South Campus building this fall. And you can see a image and drawing of that. Also in 2023, some initial site work for the SciTech project at UW River Falls will begin. And that's farther down Cascade on campus. We are very fortunate to have significant investments in facilities by our educational investments. That is a sign to everyone, both in and out of the community, that we're here to stay and we're going to invest in the future. So this is for current students and also for future students. There's a link to the SciTech project if you'd like to learn more about that. And I'm sure there's some information on CVTC's website coming down the path as they talk about their project. So now we reached the problem-solving portion of our presentation. So get out your paper and let's solve housing. Any takers? Okay. Housing investment is another area where we're actively working to consider both current and future generations. Housing availability and prices are challenging. They're challenging for current residents, and they're challenging for prospective residents that want to come into the community. And this is not a new challenge for us, unfortunately. So there's a saying in City Administrator that if you don't have a parking problem, you have a downtown problem. And if you don't have a housing problem, you have a community problem. So we have a very highly desirable community, and we have all the national, international forces related to housing. So this is not a problem that we can easily resolve. But it's a challenge that we're going to keep working towards, and we know a lot of you out there are working towards it also. So we thought we better start with some data to better understand how we could meet the community needs. So we contracted with Maxfield Research and Consulting. We had previously done that back in 2017 or 18. We had said, well, the economy is moving rapidly, the housing industry is moving rapidly, let's get a recheck on where we're at. It did not say we're doing better at addressing this challenge, so unfortunately I don't have that news to share. The report identified a current housing vacancy rate in River Falls of less than 1%. That's significantly below what they would consider a healthy benchmark for people moving in, out, around, up, down, over, et cetera. And it indicates a lack of units. This is like not a surprise to anybody here, I'm sure. Maxfield estimates that by 2030 we'll need another 300 plus affordable housing rental units, another 600 for sale units, probably close to 800 senior units to meet just the existing community needs. The report also emphasized that even one of the things that I think was eye-opening for a few of us when we were looking at this is the idea is, well, we need more affordable housing, we need more affordable housing, we need more affordable housing. And Maxfield's report emphasizes that all housing helps affordable housing. If you can't get supply up, you will not address, you can't build your way out of the affordable housing issue. Building helps because it's adding units, but all units help with varying degrees of assistance. All units help. So market rate units, above market or premium units, those all help because it gets a more natural flow of people moving between and among housing types. And that also obviously is influenced by all kinds of factors that I'm not an expert in, including mortgage rates and other things, work from home challenges or opportunities. So there's a lot of progress to still make. But we did see about 850 market rate housing units under construction or in the approval process for 2022. That seems like, oh my gosh, we're being inundated by all of these units. Again, recall that the market will immediately absorb that. That's already people living with their parents wanting to get into a unit. That is already grandparents living with their children and their grandchildren waiting to get a unit of their own, but they moved to River Falls because they want to go to youth basketball. So all of these forces are out there already, and we're trying our best to be thoughtful about what kind of units come in, but we are obviously taking the approach that we will consider all opportunities for increased housing in the community. So we're working on affordable. We've had a lot of good partnership in the community with different developers and community interests to try to build those. We've tried to build some affordable units into all of the projects where the city has entered into a development agreement, and we're going to keep working on this. And we'll be happy to take your suggestions on how we do that, and I mean that sincerely because we do not have the answers to this, and I don't believe the answers have been found yet in our country. So I've been searching. Lots of white papers that have the same conclusion. This is hard. Now, as we build, we continue to plan. So in the beginning of 2022, we began the ambitious Focus River Falls process. There's a table out in the lobby that I would encourage you to stop by, take a look at. This is a large-scale collaborative effort with the community to try to update 3 critical plans. The comprehensive plan, which a lot of people think is the land use and how we're going to grow, outdoor recreation plan, and the bike and pedestrian plan. So how we're going to grow, how we're going to interact and recreate, and then how we're going to transport ourselves around the community. So the objective of these plans is to provide both short and long-term goals and recommendations, and the goal is to align them with the community's priorities, and then our actions are guided by those plans. So one of the things that we pride ourselves as staff here at the city is once the community sets a vision for where they want to go, we do everything in our power to prioritize and work those projects to completion. So these are plans that we don't expect to sit on the shelf. We have a record of putting them into action. So there's still time for you to communicate with the city council, with the plant commission, with staff on things that you think may be missing. All the final draft plans are out there, and now we want to take them from final draft to actual implementation. And then these are living documents that the community doesn't just say, well, that was in 2023, you had your opportunity, and we're not going to talk about that again for 10 years. These are documents that the community continues a dialogue, the council can continue to modify as things go on. So each of these had a steering committee comprised of various community members. We appreciate all of their help in doing that. On March 28th, these plans will be brought before the City Council for potential adoption vote. So I do want to thank you, the community. I can't remember how many thousands of touch points we had in the community. It was extensive. We can always do more, but there was a fair amount of interaction with this plan. I want to thank the Park and Rec Advisory Board, the Plan Commission, and the Bike and Ped Plan Advisory Committee, and then also our Community Development Department, and it touched many other departments of the city for helping us consider all these possible paths and try to figure out some actionable roadmaps. So as I wrap up, I want to remind everyone that our mission at the city is to coordinate and deliver essential services. So it includes both delivering directly, but we also coordinate services that we are unable or ill-equipped or not the best person to provide in the community. And we do that with an eye at sustainable future. So what can we sustain going forward? We have 8 elected leaders and a staff of 125. We cannot fill all the roles that's required to make the kind of progress that we've made as a community. We need a lot of help. Along with all of you and a lot of people that couldn't make it today. I appreciate all of you that came out today. But as you leave today, I want to thank you, and I want you to thank your neighbors and your friends and your board members and others that you come across doing the great work that it takes to build the city. To all of our partners, to all of our board, commission, committee members, and volunteers, and to every community member that has stepped up, said yes, joined in the work or the dialogue. Your engagement and collaboration over the last year allowed us to turn big, ambitious possibilities into real progress. Thank you so much for your time. I know you have all kinds of demands on your time. You could be all different places, and this was a pretty significant investment by your time. I hope that you leave today thinking it was worth it, and understanding that you can connect with us informally outside of these formal events. We're going to keep doing our best to serve you, and so pleased to work with the community that we have, the elected leaders, and I appreciate their willingness to let me be their spokesperson today. So thanks and have a great day. We'll be around.